Hi, welcome to Hey Parents, Let's Chat. I am Jess Hunt, where we're trying to create an online community at heyparentsletschat.com of parents sharing comments after watching videos because I firmly believe that we parents are the experts, and the more we share, the more we learn, and the better parents we all become. So after watching the video, please feel free to add your comments wherever you're watching the video. Or go to heyparentsletschat.com where we can generate some conversations and share some ideas. So today's chat is going to be about babies and newborns and some of those sleeping options. And I know it's something that lots of moms sort of stress out about as they prepare to have their first baby, or they're trying to figure out what's going to be best for their baby because every baby's different. And so just going through some of the options and looking at some of the pros and cons of each. One of the most obvious is to have a nursery with a crib where the baby would be sleeping independently in its own room. And I know that there are lots of parents that do that. There's lots of moms that would prefer to have their baby closer to them. Some of the benefits to having a crib is that they're in a nursery down the hall. Some people might see that as a negative because they'd rather be closer to the baby. But if you have a baby monitor, you can see, you can hear, and then still get a good night's sleep in your own room. If you have a crib as an option, there's also less transitions. If you start off with the crib, you're just sticking with the crib, and the only transition is you get to, an actual bed once they're older. So for lots of moms that want the baby closer, there is a typical bassinet option, which is just a smaller version of a crib that you would put next to your bed or somewhere in your room. And lots of moms will choose the bassinet option so that they can have the baby in their own room for the first couple months and then transition them to the crib in their own nursery. And there's lots of benefits to that because if you're breastfeeding, they're closer to you. You can easily grab them, breastfeed, put them right back, get back to bed. And you could certainly keep an eye on them a little bit easier while they're right there in your room. So the other option, which is kind of cool, is it's kind of like a bassinet that kind of attaches to your bed. It's called a co-sleeper, which is really cool. And it really actually is like a three-sided bassinet that you can put right up next to your bed, so that as you, the mom, you're sleeping in your bed, but you're right there with the baby next to you in their own co-sleeper or bassinet it abuts. It's right next to your bed. And so that's an interesting option for those of you that kind of want to have the best of both worlds between a bassinet and co-sleeping. Co-sleeping is where you have the baby like right in the bed with you. And if you're nursing, this is a huge convenience. And it's just so much easier. Both baby and mom get lots of sleep. And you don't have to get up and out. Lots of moms will create a nest in their bed where they have everything that they need, and they don't even have to get out of bed if they don't want to. If they just want to spend an entire day just nursing and sleeping and resting and bonding, they can do that. So co-sleeping, there's pros and cons to that. You have to be very careful that you're doing it safely. You have to make sure that there's not a chance that the baby is going to suffocate in any way. And so that's why like the co-sleeper that attaches to the side of the bed is kind of like a good compromise between the bassinet and the co-sleeping option. Because once you're done nursing, you just roll over, put them in their co-sleeper, and they're in their own bed. It's like a little bassinet or a little tiny crib right next to you. But they're within arm's reach, and you don't even have to get out of bed to reach over and grab them. So those are definitely some options that you might want to consider when you have a newborn that you're nursing, or you just don't want too far away from you. And then eventually what you would do is transition them into their own nursery or into their own crib. And that's where like one of the negatives is of one of these options is like if you go with a bassinet or a co-sleeper, or you're co-sleeping in their bed, you then have to transition the baby from that sleeping routine to a new one in their own bedroom with a crib, which for lots of babies, they're babies. They can be flexible and they can adjust to a new routine pretty quickly. But as we parents need to understand, we have to then go through a transition where they are going to be learning new routines. Um, but it's possible. Lots of families do it. Um, you just have to be patient and give it a couple of weeks, and then they should be used to their new routine. So, a couple of other options for babies and for sleeping. And these are a little bit of the non-traditional. Like you can get like a Moses basket, and it's literally what you would picture if you picture a Moses basket. It's just like a little tiny bassinet basket that it's pretty mobile, which are one of the conveniences. If you're going to go and visit some family and you're bringing the baby with you, it's a really easy thing to bring. It's not like packing a huge, pack and play or um, some sort of playpen or bassinet. It's just a basket, super easy. You can also keep it right next to your bed. The only thing is it sits down low because it sits on the floor, but that is an option. So another thing is I know that there are lots of moms that just go with the swing option, um, and or I used to always cook with my kids on it's a chair that they just sit on, and it's a little bit bouncy. It's a little bit flexible. It's not an actual swing. You can get the swings with the stands, and then they just swing, or you can get the ones that sit right on the counter. It's not an actual swing, but it's just like a seat that sits on the counter, but they're laid back. And I used to sit my kids on the counter when I was cooking dinner, but lots of people use these for actual sleeping. There are babies that might have acid reflux, and they might need to sit with a slight incline. And so having them just sleep in one of these is totally fine. And that is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up. And a baby hammock is kind of the same thing. It's a swing that just is basically the shape of a hammock. It's the same idea, but they just sleep a little bit differently. Different direction is what I should say. With a swing, they're facing forward. With a hammock, they're sleeping sideways and swinging side to side. So the one of the things that I wanted to say with these more non-traditional options is that sometimes as parents, we just get into survival mode where I don't care how they sleep or where they sleep as long as they're sleeping, because I, my mom, am so exhausted. And I want moms to know out there that, like, that's acceptable. It's okay. You don't need to stress out about the sleeping arrangements as long as everyone is sleeping. That's the bottom line. And so the other option that I wanted to just mention, and some families do this, and that's the family bed, where everyone in the family sleeps in the same bed. This, depending on how large your family is, it could be super large. Some families will put mattresses attached together on the floor, and everyone sleeps in the family bed. It's a community environment, and that's fine if people choose to do that. I tend to shy away from that option altogether because, frankly, I think everyone deserves and needs a little privacy. And if one person is snoring and keeping someone else up, one person kicks and someone's waking up, and it's just a little bit too much as far as I'm concerned. But it's an option, and some families do that. So one of the things that I just wanted to stress with this chat is that while you have many options, you really do have to just narrow down what is best for you, what is best for your family, and what is best, most importantly, for the baby. And every baby is going to be completely different. Some babies might be fussier if they're staying in a crib by themselves. Some babies might want to be closer to mom. And so you just really have to look at the options and then decide what's going to be best for you and your family. And here's my overall message to moms as they're stressing about all of this. Don't stress. Just do what is best for you and your baby. Whatever makes your baby happy. Whatever is going to allow you and your baby and the rest of the family to get a good night's sleep, then do it. If it's in a swing, let them swing. If it's in a bassinet, do it. And when you go to transition into the crib, it's okay. Don't worry. It'll all work out. If your baby is crying in the crib and you bring them into your bedroom for some co-sleeping, a couple nights a week, who cares? Your baby's going to go through phases where perhaps they're teething, perhaps they're going through some sleep regression, and they might be used to the crib, but for 2 weeks, all of a sudden they're being super fussy. They want to sleep with you and you want to co sleep in your room. Then do it. Do it. Do what is best for you and your baby. Do what is best for you and your family so that everybody gets a good night's sleep. If your baby, they're going to go through phases. I'm telling you right now, you're going to think you've got a good routine down. Next thing you know, they're going through a phase. That's normal. Do what you need to do to survive, is what I'm trying to say. Don't stress out. Don't worry about, oh my gosh, I'm getting the baby off schedule, or oh my gosh, I was told not to do this. There are certain things that you're told not to do for safety reasons. But as long as your baby is in a safe environment, then do whatever it takes to get a good night's sleep. And I I remember I remember listening, to the baby crying and bringing them into my room and then thinking, "Oh my gosh, am I creating bad habits? Are they never going to want to leave if they're used to sleeping next to me?" And the bottom line is, and this is what like I had to remind myself of when my kids were little, and I said this to myself very often: they're going to grow out of it. I'm not going to have an 18-year-old that's still sleeping in bed with me. It's not going to happen. And it was that mentality that allowed me to just be like, okay, it's okay. If they're sleeping in here for a couple nights because they're not feeling good or they're teething, I'm doing what's best. I'm comforting them, and that's okay. And when you are stressed out about a decision that you're making, or if someone's giving you advice and they're telling you that what you're doing is wrong, or your baby's getting spoiled, which, by the way, is not possible in my mind, or you need to be keeping them on a routine, on a schedule, all of this advice you're going to be bombarded with. Take a step back, take a deep breath, say that you appreciate the advice when someone gives it to you, be grateful, but then make the decision on what's best for you and your family, no matter what it is. I can guarantee you, if you are taking your baby into your room and co-sleeping, they're not going to be 18 years old still doing the same thing. Okay? They're going to grow out of it. So rest assured, don't stress. Think about what's best for you and your baby and enjoy that time together. So I hope this video has been helpful. I hope it's been informative. I hope it's given you a little bit to think about so that you can sort of decrease your stress, minimize some of that stress. There's enough out there to be stressing about. This is not one of those things. And I wish you and your family many bonding nights, many good night sleeps. And if you find value in this video, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit like, follow us, and share this video with friends that might benefit. And above all, definitely add your comments. If you have some ideas other parents can learn from, then add them. You can go to heyparentsletschat.com and add them there, or anywhere you're seeing this video. So until the next video, thank you for joining us.